Hey guys, and welcome to another Age of Empires 2 replay audio commentary, and in this replay I have a 3 versus 3 team game that I played this evening. This is probably the first replay that I'm uploading where I'm playing a team game without any of the players that I play with in my Age of Empires group. We've had a little bit of inactivity recently, and I just finished work on time and I felt like playing a game, so I jumped into a game and I got this 3 versus 3 Nomad game. And I teamed up with a better handle who picked Malians, and then this Creeju guy, or Creejo, was a bit late to choose his civ, and I'd initially chosen Burmese, but then he chose Burgundians, and then I was thinking, well, Burmese, Burgundians and Malians are all very cavalry focused, and if there's a good Italians player on the other team, we'll be in a little bit of trouble because we'll all be quite weak to Genoese crossbow, which the Italians definitely go into on this map with how easy it is to get up a castle. So I changed my civ sort of at the last minute to Ethiopians because I thought just in case there is an Italians player on the other team, Ethiopians is a good civ to play against Italians because they have better archers across the board and they're not really afraid of condottiero or anything like that because Ethiopians don't use hand cannoneers. Sure enough, on the other team there is an Italians player, and there's also Malay and Koreans, all very archer heavy civs, which actually Ethiopians quite like playing against. And on my team I've got Burgundians and Malians. So I'm playing as the grey, and all of my villagers have spawned in a very small L shape. So I've got two quite close together here and one over here. Now I guess what I could have done is I could have built a TC with the two closer villages. I'm just going to press start on the replay and go to my view lock. I'm just moving the villagers away, and I've decided to go over here. I've seen a wood line and a gold, and I'm going to build my TC right there, and that's building my TC very quickly with one villager, which means I'm going to have my town centre up quite early, and then I'm using my villager that was the westmost villager to go over next to the shore. One of the reasons why I wanted to do a video about this game is because of the strategy that I used in the game. One of the reasons why I like playing Ethiopians on Nomad is I'm a player who likes to make outposts to help me determine what strategy to go for in the earlier stages of the game. So it helps me sort of find my if there are any opponents nearby, it's good to get extra vision on their map and where they're building their buildings and sort of work out a strategy to basically kick their ass. Otherwise, it's also good to just have a bit of vision on part of the map so that, you know, if there's a surprise attack sort of coming through, feudal archers or some scouts or anything like that, you'll get a bit of a warning, and it also helps you find your nearby resources around your base, which can be quite handy, particularly because Ethiopian outposts don't cost any stone, so you can still build 3 town centres. If you build 2 outposts in Dark Age, you don't have to mine any extra stone, you don't have to buy any extra stone, and they also get +3 vision. And what that means is it's basically like having free town watch on your outposts in Dark Age, and then it's kind of like having town patrol outposts if you get town watch in Feudal Age. So I'm doing my standard Nomad start. Initial villagers after building the TC to wood. Dock villager builds the house and then collects the shorefish. 4 villagers onto wood at the start. I'm also talking about what the enemy players are going to do with my teammate, and I'm sort of pinging him his nearby resources just in case he hasn't seen them. And then after I collect 75 wood, I go in to pull the first boar. Unfortunately, the first boar kind of walks away a little bit, so my timing is going to be a little bit slow, and I'm going to have to get loom after this villager because I don't have any food under my town centre. Because ideally, you'd have the villagers on wood collecting food already, so that's fine. I'm like, it's not the end of the world to get loom early. And then here I'm just a little bit late to start building my second house, so I'm going to have to rush that up with multiple villagers if I want to avoid any town centre. And between 3 boar villagers and 1 villager on shorefish, that is enough food to keep your town centre running consistently with boar dropping. So here, again, I've got my first fishing ship out. I considered, I think, building the second fishing ship, but then I realised I didn't build the house, so I've cancelled the fishing ship, and I'm going to have to build this house with 2 villagers to avoid any idle TC. Sometimes I'll put 4 villagers on boar instead of 3. It just kind of depends. Like, it sort of depends on how late or how early I pull in the boar. if I pulled it in a little bit late here, so the dock villager had a bit more of a chance to bring in some extra fish, and I got loom, so that meant I had food in the bank and I can afford to leave it on 3, and that's pretty smooth. And then I sent a cow to scout over to the east of my town centre, and I've lost the cow, so I've just told my teammates that I think there's a town centre there. I can see that there is a chopped tree, and my first move here as Ethiopians is to go and build an outpost over on that wood line, just to confirm that that is a player's town centre, which I'm pretty positive that it is. As I was talking about before, the Ethiopian outposts get extra vision, so it's going to give me a good idea of the amount of how close the enemy town centre is to that wood line, etc. Again, I get housed here, so a little bit of idle town centre, just a little bit off my rhythm in this game. And the first ball under the town centre is now finishing up, and I've decided to take that deer. Got like a close deer patch there on the right of my TC. I'm just going to send a villager over to grab that second boar, as that's the only other boar that I can see at the moment. Then I'll just pop some villagers on the deer while I wait. Need to get that extra house up. I think I've continuously been building fishing ships. I think I've got maybe 3 out now. I'll just pop the rest of those villagers on wood and on the deer while I wait. Pull that boar back to the TC, and I was lucky here because I clicked forward with the cow, and the cow has actually ended up blocking the boar, so that my villager that's pulling the boar didn't really get hit until now. So it's not going to be like a low health villager, and then the timing just works out that I can shoot the boar with the deer villagers as they're coming back to the town centre. So that's a nice boar lure there. I didn't have to use the TC trick. And up at the top of the screen, I can see that my opponent is building a line of house walls. So I'm just going to send a villager over there to push that other deer towards my town centre, because I don't know if my opponent's going to come and try and take that deer, or try and shoot it with a villager. So just to secure that food, I just use that villager to push that a bit closer to my TC. And you've got to be careful to micro fishing ships early in Nomad. One of the common pitfalls that you can do is you can forget to scout around your dock, and then once your first deep fish runs out, all of your fishing ships will be then collecting shore fish, which is a lot slower. So I've made sure to scout for my next deep fish with my fishing ship, and here I'm going to build a second outpost. I usually build 2 outposts in Dark Age on Nomad. Particularly if someone's close, I really recommend doing that. And the best ship to do that with is Ethiopians, because they don't cost any stone and you get that extra vision. So I can see that across that section between the 2 trees, my opponent is building a line of house walls. And the other thing is, I can see all this stuff. He has absolutely no idea I'm there, because Dark Age houses only have 1 tile line of sight in Dark Age. And I can see that there's another deer patch just north of where my second outpost is. Continuously building houses, and I've clicked up on 21 villages, which I think is a reasonable uptime. It's pretty quick, but it's not like the fastest that you can do. I'm just going to micro my dock villager onto that shorefish, and ideally, because it's like a thin patch of shoreline over there, I'm going to build a second dock for some extra efficiency. I need to build a mill so I can build a market. Building a lumber camp because I'm probably going to be playing a little bit into feudal age this game, so I want to be getting in double bit axe for the wood chopping efficiency, because I need to be building. I'm probably going to be going towers because I've got a close opponent. That's my number 1 strategy that I go for when I'm 1 wood line away from an opponent, is a tower rush. I think that's definitely the most successful strategy that I have used. It works for me 90-something% of the time when I'm 1 wood line away from another opponent. I go tower rush, and I pretty much always beat them. I might not necessarily win the game, because in a team game, it's not all about you. Like, you can only sort of do your part, but I've been finding it very successful. I'm also building a 3rd outpost on the gold at the south, because I want to make sure that he is not going to go down there to try and take gold. So I get to feudal age, I queue up 1 villager, and then I queue town watch, because I want some extra vision. I want to know what my opponent's doing. I want to be able to see a bit extra. I'm also getting in double bit axe, and I built a second dock with my dock villager for the extra fishing efficiency. I'm sending 4 villagers over to build the tower. Currently I have 6 fishing ships. I'm building a 7th one because my fish haven't been attacked at the moment. I've got a close ally, and because I haven't suffered any aggression, I can probably get away with that little bit of extra greed. And those fishing ships are going to carry me through to Castle Age. Now, as you can see, just going to pause the game for a second. Look at the amount. Actually, I probably won't pause it. Can I pause the game and move the camera around? No, they removed that feature. So I think it's been a long time since I've made a video, but you used to be able to pan the camera around when you were paused. So I'm just going to go down to slow with the unpaused gameplay and take it off. No, I can move it around. Sorry, it's been a little while. All right, so the game is paused. Look at the amount that I can see with Town Watch and the Ethiopian Outposts. I can see several tiles into this wood line. I can see the house there. I can see that my opponent's got villages under the TC. I can see all the way in there that there's absolutely nothing behind that area. It's just so much information, and this information helps you make good decisions because you know where your opponent is, where they're not, and it allows you to correctly choose what to do. So here, with the tower villages, I've decided to attack the house because Dark Age houses have -2 melee armor and they only have 550 health, and villages do +2 damage because of the -2 melee armor, and they also have a bonus damage against buildings. So they're doing 8 damage a hit to the house, and very quickly I'm punching through that house with 3 villages because my opponent is still in Dark Age because they probably invested a little bit more into fish and not as much into food, so they're going up a little bit later than me. And before my opponent is in Feudal Age, I've already punched through that house. So to secure the space, I'm going to make a second tower. I'm not, like, what I probably could have done here is made the tower a little bit more forward, like right up against the wall. I think that would have been a little bit more aggressive, but I think the location of where I put it is fine because it's on a hill and it's still sort of denying space around this area because I'm interested in getting as close to the enemy town center as I can. So I'm continuing to queue up villages. I haven't had to build a mining camp on gold because my town center's on gold. I've pulled my villages off stone because I don't need to be mining stone at this stage. I need to be getting food and making a market. The fishing ships and the deer has carried me through so that I get enough food to get up to Castle Age. You also get +100 food and gold when you age up with Ethiopians. So that means I've had to mine a lot less gold and also collect a little bit less food. And then I'm just microing down one of my enemy villagers who's been building walls around his base. And now I'm going to go for a castle drop because my opponent is very late. Like, he was a lot later to Feudal Age than me, and I have delayed him with the tower rush. So I forced his villagers off the wood line. He's going to have to make a new lumber camp. And I'm just going to quickly change my POV to his point of view for a second. So one thing that I did is that even though, as you can see, my opponent has the resources to go up to Castle Age, he's got enough food and gold, he doesn't have enough wood. He doesn't even have a second building. Like, he doesn't even have a first Feudal Age building because he's had to make a second lumber camp and then a tower. And that's like 50 wood, 150 wood that he didn't have. And it's also probably causing him to panic as well. And he probably could have put a mining camp in the middle here, but he hasn't been able to afford it. And he was also sort of pre-mining stone in Dark Age as well, which I don't really recommend doing personally. So, like, he could be, if I hadn't done this strategy, he could be on his way up to Castle Age by now. But because I've tower rushed him and I've forced him off wood, I've forced him to spend these resources, I've delayed his Castle Age time significantly. I'm just going to go back to my point of view and press play again. So he's also got 4 villagers idle in that tower garrison, shooting down my tower, which means he's collecting less resources per minute by losing that villager time. And I don't particularly care about keeping this tower up. Like, there's no point for me to repair that because I'm on my way up to castle. I've got 11 villagers on stone. I'm going to be doing a castle drop. I think I actually ended up buying 100 stone just so that I'd hit the timing as well. I'm getting the gold mining upgrade on the way up to Castle Age because I'm going to be making military units in Castle Age. And then again, you see what happens when you forget to micro your fish. They become inefficient. So now I'm going to go and find a new deep fish. There's one there. Great. So my castle time is going to be 18 minutes something. It's not the fastest Castle Age because I did a tower rush. But considering that I did 2 towers, it's still a pretty good time. And I'm going to be second to Castle Age, just behind the enemy Kareem's player. And my opponent's very scared now. He's going into full stone walls, but it's not going to help him, I don't think. So I'm going to use 8 villagers to build the castle, and there's just enough space to build it on that hill. So, but I've just mucked up the amount of stone that I need, and I had to send 3 villagers back to drop off the stone. There we go. I'm dropping off the castle. The castle is in range of the enemy tower, and also the villagers. There's not that much space because there's a house wall there. It's only really allowing me to get 4 villagers onto the castle that aren't getting shot by the tower. So I moved a couple back, and I've put a few onto the deer there. I'm also getting in bowsaw because it's probably the most important upgrade in the game. And any time that I don't get bowsaw, because I don't usually forget it, because I've also got, as you can see at the top of the screen, the eco upgrade indicator mod, which, you know, is very helpful for reminding you to get eco upgrades. But I've deliberately not gotten bowsaw a few times because I needed to make a military, or I was doing something specific where I couldn't afford it, and I've regretted it pretty much every single time. Sometimes you might not get it immediately in castle, like as the first thing you click. You might do something else first, but I highly recommend getting it early castle age pretty much every time, unless you're like literally fighting for your life and you need all that wood to make like an extra stable or a siege workshop or something like that, and then get it after that. So after my castle's up, I'm building some Showtail warriors. Got a little bit of idle TC here. I built a siege workshop at the other gate. I'm queuing up a ram, and now I'm getting in wheelbarrow, which is another upgrade that I like to get early in castle age if I can. Because at this, like, I don't really need extra villagers here. I'm going for sort of an aggressive strategy. I think wheelbarrow is going to be handy to sort of help me get extra resources. I just have a little bit of inefficiency getting my Showtail warriors into the guy's base, and I'm giving him a little bit of time to build stone walls. I'm just sort of taking it a little bit easy, building a second town centre, and I can see that he's building a line of stone walls around his TC, so I'm going to see if I can get through this red palisade gate at the top. See if I can get some damage up here, because I don't actually know what's behind that. And so it's at least forcing some stone walls from the red player. Will I be able to get through the wall? No, he's just a little bit too quick, and he's tapped all the walls so that I can't get through. Unfortunately, I just get the 1 villager kill there. So my best opportunity is probably going to be trying to go through the stone walls of the yellow player. I've got my siege workshop, getting up a second ram, getting up the second town centre, building some farms sort of while I'm doing this. Got 6 Showtail warriors. I'm just attacking the stone gate. I probably should have been attacking one of the pieces of the wall. He's coming forward to build a castle. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be... And then one of the pieces of wall disappears. So I was like, what? So what that villager there is doing is he's trying to build a gate foundation behind that stone gate that I'm attacking, and he's opened his wall by accident. He's allowed me in with the Showtail warriors, so it's like Christmas. So he's tried to hellspawn me out, but Showtail warriors do 16 damage a hit. That's not going to help. And I'm now ripping through all of his villagers trying to build the castle. I'm laughing my face off while I'm doing it. I'm sending one up into his wood line just to get a bit of extra damage. And oh dear, that was very painful. He's probably on 20 or less villagers right about now. And I think I'm at a very big disadvantage. The Showtail warrior and his wood line's still going. I'm almost through the other gate with the battering rams, and I'll get the rams onto his blacksmith there in a second, because he's going to be making some Genoese crossbows, so if I can destroy his blacksmith, he can't get, say, fletching or something like that, which is kind of handy. I see he's on gold over there. I've got a few Showtail warriors left. I lost some to the castle and to the town centre. See if I can get an extra villager pick on the gold mine. Also getting up a monastery because there's a close relic, so I thought, why not? May as well pick that up. Get one. I probably could have kept going there. He's got some Genoese crossbow up, so I'm going to go back now. And I'm getting in bodkin arrow, bit of extra range for my castle, getting a monk onto that relic. I'm also going to make a scorpion, just in case he starts making Genoese crossbow. That will ward them off. They won't be able to push me because of that. Just keep on. Now I'm just looking back at my eco, doing a bit of eco balance. I'm on 2 town centres. I've got horse collar farms up, got bowsaw in, wheelbarrow, gold mining upgrade. I'm just going to go forward with the Showtail warriors and just see if I can get any other villager picks. And at this stage, it's just probably about getting the economy sorted, getting in the wood and the gold to get up to Imperial Age. So I'll move the battering. Yeah, so yellow ends up resigning. I've killed him pretty much. That mistake with the gate was absolutely devastating. There's no way he's coming back from that unless one of his teammates has an incredible performance. So I'm just moving up into red space now with the Showtail Warriors. He's got a castle there. Unfortunately, I could have probably microed that a bit better, but you know, I pushed him off his resources. That's fine. Yep, forcing him to run back. A little bit of idle sort of town centre. Oops, I want a bit of town centre on that gold pile. He's had to run his woodline villages as well by the looks of it. Getting the rams onto that castle. No, not going to be able to get any extra kills. Or maybe I got one under the town centre. That's fine. So now it's just going to be looking to get up to Imperial Age. There's already one player out of the game. And it's just a matter of beating Red now. Red is Koreans. I'm assuming he's going to go war wagons because that's what Koreans usually do on Nomad. So I'm going to go into skirmishes because skirmishes is the war wagon counter and Ethiopians get fully upgraded skirmishes. So putting an archery range now. I've already got the first two ranged upgrades. Getting Imperial Age. I sold a little bit of wood to get the gold to click up. I think I'm a little bit low on wood because I want to be building some trebuchets. The elite skirmisher upgrade costs wood, so I just need to do a little bit more eco balance here. Getting in the armor upgrades. Armor upgrades is very important for skirmishers. Building a few extra farms. I haven't really looked to see what has happened in the rest of the game, but just going to have a bit of a look. So if I take the view lock off. The Malay player who spawned over here, this is the enemy, one of my enemies, he has castle drop blue and kicked blue out of his base, and blue has run his villages over basically to teal's base over here. And then red, who had the fastest castle time, is just booming. And so if we look at the villager numbers, red is on 84 villages. However, my economy's been relatively efficient. I'm on 71 economy, and I've still got some fishing ships that are working pretty inefficiently. I think they're sort of going over here. So yeah, I mean, obviously it should be a pretty easy win. It's just a matter of making the other team resign. So I'm going to come in here and build a second castle to secure that stone. I'm also getting in the gold shaft mining upgrade on the way up to Imperial Age, which I think is a nice upgrade if you're making gold units. It really increases the speed that you can create gold units because it reduces the amount of villages that you need on gold to produce. And sometimes it can be quite significant. Like if you're doing 2 stable nights, it might reduce the amount of villages that you need on gold by 2 or something like that. And that's per every 2 stables, just as an example. So I've got the battering rams on Red's wall just to sort of see what he does to try and defend it. And now I'm just sort of fixing my TC waypoints. That's a nice mill spot, so I'm going to build a mill there. You can see that he's got a castle, a couple of war wagons. Yep, that's what I was expecting. And now I'm starting to queue up some elite skirmishers. And then I basically just need bracer and ballistics, maybe chemistry. And then that should about do it. I'll just move those battering rams back. There's a mangonel there now. And I just got a couple of knights at that spot. So garrison the villages, get some extra Showtail warriors out to ward those away. Still continuing to make villages after I click to Imperial Age, I think. Or do I forget to start making them here? I've forgotten to queue them at least. Getting Embracer. A little bit of idle town centre. See if I remember to actually... Ah, there we go. Yeah, and then I press my hotkey to shift build 5 villages. Getting in a trebuchet, getting in bracer. Get some trebuchets onto that red castle. First trebuchets come out. There we go. Now I'm getting in ballistics. I had to do a little bit of market balance. I've been buying wood because I haven't had enough villages on wood for a little while. Getting in the second trebuchet, queued up conscription behind it. Still making a few extra Showtail warriors just in case he starts making knights or something like that, or light cavalry. And then yeah, red has resigned. As soon as the trebuchet gets into his castle, basically, he's not up to imp yet, and then the Malay player resigns as well. Yeah, so that was a fun one. It was like sort of a nice chill game, and I think the strategy that I used to break yellow was quite nice, but I guess the highlight of the game was his mistake deleting the gate, allowing my Showtail Warriors in. It would have been a bit of a longer game if that didn't happen. I think I had him cornered though. I'd broken into his base here, and I also had the castle on his main TC, so that's a lot of pressure that I was putting on him. And despite the fact that blue was kind of, you know, he'd been pushed away from his base, he is Burgundians, he is in castle age, he's got 3 town centres up, he'll be fine. Alright, that about does it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you look forward to the next video.